Good evening and welcome to Mercer University News. Tonight we'll be discussing infant mortality rates in the United States, specifically looking at sudden infant death syndrome and injury. We will be looking at stats and data on both topics. We will also have an interview with a local health educator who will be giving us car safety tips and information on health issues that are important to her local community. We also have another correspondent who is with another public health service who are describing the resources that they provide to the community to address both SIDS and injuries. I hope you stay tuned and enjoy what we have for you tonight.
Many more babies die in the United States than you might think. In 2014, more than 23,000 infants died in their first year of life in the United States, or about 6 for every 1,000 born. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 25 other industrialized nations do better than the United States at keeping babies alive. Deaths in the post-neonatal period are due in large part to sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, sudden death, and accidents. Moreover, they seem to occur disproportionately in poor women.
Sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, which is also known as cot death or crib death, is the sudden and unexplainable death of an infant during their first year of life. The most well-known risk factors have to do with how an infant sleeps. To lower the risk of SIDS, the recommendation is to make sure that babies sleep alone in a crib, on their backs, and without blankets.
It's one of the coolest things about kids, the unknown, the potential, the chance to do or become whatever they can imagine. But what if something happens during childhood that stops them from reaching that potential? Did you know that preventable injuries are the #1 killer of children in the United States? And around the world, 1 child dies from a preventable injury every 30 seconds. But the important thing to remember about preventable injuries is that they're preventable. We can do something to stop them. Things to make sure kids get the chance to be creative and play, the chance to take chances and explore, the chance to fall down and get back up. Help us give your kid, and every kid, the chance to grow up, reach their potential, and become whatever they can imagine. Learn how at safekids.org.
So I'm here to talk to Miss Stephanie Hyman. She's a health educator and a Safe Kids coordinator for Central Georgia. We will be talking about infant mortality as it relates to injuries. So what are the top sources of injury in the Macon-Bibb County area?
Okay, so in Macon-Bibb, the top one is falls, the second one is motor vehicle crashes, and the third one is poisoning.
Okay, so what are some common concerns as it relates to falls?
Okay, so when it comes to falls, the main things that we educate on are TV tip-overs and also playground safety. So a lot of the other falls are probably more so accidents, so that's kind of harder to educate on, but we do try to concentrate on the ones that we can try to prevent.
Okay. So you also mentioned poisoning, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to poisoning, what are some things that people should look out for?
So the biggest one right now are the Tide Pods, which are the little pods that you throw in the washing machine. Kids are taking those and eating them. So that is one of the things that we've been educating a lot on. But also with your medications, making sure you're keeping your medications high enough so the kids can't reach them. Making sure that they're not confusing them with candy or anything like that, because we don't want them taking medications that they don't need or are not prescribed to them. Also, of course, the cleaning products are a big thing, making sure you keep those up high or either locked and away from the kids.
Are there any other things as it relates to injury prevention that are rising in the area, or other things that you think that people should look out for?
Well, the biggest one in Bibb County is always a motor vehicle. We like to make sure that we're providing the car seats for people that need them. And then also providing the education, because we have a lot of people that take their kids out of car seats too early, or aren't using car seats at all. So we like to try to provide the education to as many people as possible.
Okay, so you mentioned that the top issue for injury for children in this county is motor vehicle crashes and car safety. So, in what ways do you educate the community on car safety for children?
Okay, so with car safety, one of the main things we do are the car seat classes where the parents have to sign up with me, register. They also have to receive Wicker Medicaid in order to be qualified for the class. So once they come to the class lasts about an hour. They receive all the education, and then at the very end, we take them to their cars and make sure that they actually know how to install the seats. So we do provide those seats free for them. They just have to take the class in order to receive them. So we do a lot on car seat safety. We also do car seat checks. We allow parents to come in, bring their car seats, and make sure that they're properly installing them and make sure they're harnessing their child in right. So we do it here at the health department, and we also go out to the community during certain days. We do it a lot in September because that is National Car Week, National Car Safety. It's Car Seat Safety Week.
Okay. So what are some things that you find, like when you are talking to parents about car seat safety, what are some things that you find are common and what they're maybe doing incorrectly?
One of the things is not installing the seat tightly. So they'll just buckle the seat in, but they won't do anything else. So then they're wondering why the seat is moving while they're driving, turning left or turning right. That was one thing. And then another thing is the tether, which is one that the parents don't even realize what it's there for. But when the seat is in the forward-facing position, they do have to clip that tether to keep the seat from coming forward if they were in a car crash. So those are two of the most common that I see.
So in regards to injury prevention, what are some things that you would like to see change, or some things that you would like to do in order to better educate the people in the community?
Okay, so one thing that I would like to do is get some more information from the hospital so we could get better detail of what is really happening as far as injuries when it comes to falls or these accidents that are occurring, such as in the vehicle or elsewhere. It would be nice to get some reports from them. So that's one thing that I do want to work on, so we'll know exactly what's happening in our community, a little bit more detail. But according to the rankings that I gave you, poisoning is one that I don't do a whole lot on, that I would like to do more on, making sure parents understand how important it is to keep those medications away from their kids, because they will mistake them for candy. So that's one of the activities that we have, is showing them how much these medications are looking like the candy that their kids may eat. One of the other things that we said was with the falls, and that goes back to getting more reports from the hospital, so we'll know exactly what kind of falls we're dealing with the most, so we'll know where to start the education on, because that is another thing that is hard for me to educate people on, because like I said, the only ones that I do are the TV tip overs or the playground safety. So if there are other things, I would like to find out from the hospital, like what are those falls coming from. Oh, and also funding. One of the things that I like to talk about is safe sleep. So pack and plays are one thing that I like to provide, the same way that we provide the car seats. So we do need funding for that. We don't have a specific program like we do the car seat program for the safe sleep. So that's one thing that I would also like to do.
Okay, thank you.
You taught us how to walk. You read us bedtime stories. You made me say please and thank you. You changed our table. You bought me a car seat, but you didn't get it checked. But I know you love me. I know you love me. I know you love me.
Our demonstration. So first I'm going to show you how to install the seat when it's in the rear facing position. So the babies actually need to stay rear facing to the age of 2. So they need to be in a seat something like this or even bigger, because I believe this one stops at 40 pounds. So there are some that come where they can stay in the seat till 65 pounds. But basically with this one, when you're doing rear facing, you want to make sure you're using the right slot. So you have 2 slots here. You always want to use the one closest to the back of the seat. So I'm going to take the seat belt, put it through the correct slot. And buckle. So first you want to make sure you lock the seat belt. So that's just pulling it all the way and letting it go, making sure it's locked. So I was talking to you about making sure you actually tighten the seat because right now it's super loose. So all you want to do is push down and pull this up at the same time. So you just got to use as much muscle as you can to get it as tight as possible. So there, now it's not moving. So that's rear facing. I'm going to unbuckle to show you forward facing. Alright, so with this seat, we are now using this slot, which again is the closest one to the back of the seat. And just doing the same thing. Buckle it, off that seat belt, and push down and pull up.
And so you said after 2 years old, this is when they can be forward facing.
Yes, so you want to wait till they're at least 2 before you put them in the forward facing position. And this is the tether that I was telling you about. If you want to come back here, I'll show you where it flips on this seat. So basically you want to install the seat first. Once the seat is installed, then you can use the tether. So it's in different locations depending on your vehicle. On this seat, it's down there at the bottom. A lot of times it's on the back of the seat. But it's just in different locations depending on the vehicle. So basically you would clip it, tighten it, and this seat is ready to go.
And so in most cars, you have that tether on the back of the headrest, right?
Right. So when you're in a regular car, it's right there below the back windshield, and it's right there. Sometimes they have covers over it. Sometimes they don't, but it's just a clip that looks just like that one.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Miss Hyman.
You're welcome.
Now we'll look at 3 easy ways to help prevent or reduce SIDS.
During the last decade, we've seen a tremendous decrease in the numbers of sudden infant death syndromes per 1,000 live babies born. For example, probably 1991, the amount of deaths were between 4,000 or 5,000 babies per 1,000 in the United States, and now we're down to about perhaps 1,500 to 2,000 babies. And it's very clear why we have been able to reduce these tragic deaths. We have put back into the picture and recommendations 3 important normative human practices. 1, breastfeeding. Lack of breastfeeding is an important risk factor for SIDS. 2, we have turned babies away from stomach sleeping and put them on their backs. That proved to be singularly the most significant risk factor for SIDS, putting babies on their stomachs. Why? Possibly because it promotes uninterrupted deep stage sleep. That's one possibility, a stage of sleep from which babies have a difficulty arousing from to terminate apnea. Or babies get caught with weak neck muscles breathing into mattresses, breathing lethal doses of CO2. We put them on their backs. And why do we put them on their backs? Because it's the only way they can breastfeed. And by the way, the third factor is the only way they can breastfeed is to have a mother close. The proximity of mother, room sharing as a form of co-sleeping is protecting babies. Breastfeeding is protecting babies. And putting babies on their back has protected babies from SIDS.
My name is Victoria, and I am the intern mortality intern for Gwinnett, Rockdale, and Newton County. So what I will be doing is I would be training child care facilities on how to properly put infants to sleep. So by me doing that, I would have to get certified by the Department of Public Health to become a safe sleep coordinator or trainer, and then I would train either directors, managers of child care facilities in Newton and Rockdale County, and they would be able to train those people that work under them, so like teachers and such. Also, we would give out letters to parents to let them understand that we are reaching out to them to educate them on how to properly put infants to sleep. And also, we're going to try to reach out to the community as well. So we'll try to go to bigger events, such as events that are going to be taking place in Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA, where we know that a lot of parents would be coming to such events, or if there are any spring or fall events where the county tries to get parents out, we would try to go there and train parents and the community on how to properly put babies to sleep. So the goal of the health department is to have at least 2 people safe sleep certified by the Department of Public Health, and from those 2 people they can train other people in the other counties as well that are having higher sudden infant death syndrome rates.
And now for our tour of the local health department.
Bibb County Health Department, and is also attached to Rivers Edge Behavioral Health Center. Today they are having a back to school clinic. Now I know for the purpose of our project we are discussing injury prevention, but I just wanted to show that the health department participates in various things. So they have Safe Kids here, Care Source here. This is the waiting area. I'm just walking around to the rest of the vendors that they have. Mercer is here, Rivers Edge, Family Advancement Ministries. And then walking down to where they're doing the immunizations and the community health room. So patients will come in here to see providers or have immunizations done. And so right now it's kind of slow, but this is one of the many events that they do.
We do hope that tonight's stories have given you more insight into SIDS and injuries as it pertains to infant mortality in the United States. We hope that you're able to take this information, use it, and have a happier and safer home. This is Matthew Calhoun from Mercer News signing off. Good night.